up, it's over. You wanted her, so just give me what I deserve. So can I get some closure? Stay right where you are and don't go closer. If you haven't picked it up, it's over. Run back to her, 'cause I got what I want, closure. I might be broken down, but I'm smiling. I keep my head up high, though I fail. Sometimes I get a bit emotional, but then I turn around and let it go. I see you watching me from a distance. I see you can't decide what to feel, but if you dig a little deeper, boy, you know you really wanna get to know me. Let's get this out of the way. I can't wait another day to tell you you shouldn't wait. Don't be so afraid. Yeah, I'm a bit too much, but I'm fun and games. When I'm acting tough, I just wanna play. If you are looking for one hell of a ride, just come and get it. Baby, I'm all yours. Come and get it.
Bichon picks up, and they've got a short field. They've got another goal. It's tied up at 12. I cannot believe what I'm seeing
Can
here.
Lola Dam chase that one down? That is a score for Hartlinger Elferkel. Fantastic run by Julia Love.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge.
And we believe that that requires knocking down the paywall.
We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch, and we want them to go viral.
When you become a member, you enable us to improve our working relationships with tournament organisers, events and federations.
And you'll help us to produce live stories for Ultimate fans, and to generate new fans with our enhanced content.
We are a group of Ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts, and we want to bring you coverage on a more consistent basis. We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Ciao ragazzi, support the community.
Let's subscribe ULTI.TV. There's lots of the videos, posting, everything. Check it out. They are the best one. Woo!
If you want to grow Ultimate Sports, become a member of ULTI.TV.
Regardez ULTI.TV.
Deviens membre d'ULTI.TV et fais grandir ta communauté.
Stop ULTI.TV bölümü Eroginkime Ultimate Vendromena. Si quieres ayudar a ULTI.TV, puedes ser miembro de ULTI.TV.
Everyone, follow ULTI.TV on Instagram, on YouTube. They've got everything.
Best content.
Like their pictures if you love Frisbee. Just do it.
We're counting on you.
Bli medlem på ULTI.TV.
Became member
of ULTI.TV.
Mamma mia.
Contribue au développement d'Ultimate avec ULTI.TV.
Like and subscribe, ULTI.TV, the best in the world.
We want to grow Ultimate.
we want to grow Ultimate. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We have our signature style 2-camera setup,
with thousands of hours of experience.
and our crew is globally dispersed to facilitate coverage everywhere around the world. We can also scale back our broadcast with just one elevated camera, or scale up with 2 fields, 2 cameras, and 2 commentators on each.
We work with local teams and we all have the same mission, to grow the sport and bring it to new people by providing live coverage and new stories.
Become a member today on our Patreon page.
And fund our work to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories, ideas and live coverage to the eyes of the Ultimate world and beyond.
Right now,
He's gonna have to bid. Just a football.
Huge layout block. Unbelievable stuff on the front corner of the end zone.
Maybe just that boost of energy they needed. Huge swing pass and a great grab there from Spear.
Always on the move? You can keep up to date with ULTI.TV on all of our social media channels. Like, follow, subscribe, share us with a friend, or send us a message just to say hey. Thank you for supporting us in our mission to grow Ultimate everywhere.
The ultimate things in life are free, and we're keeping it that way. Subscribe to keep up with the latest games, tournaments, and community content. Share it with your team and friends, and drop a like to help spread Ultimate to more people. Spread the word, spread the love. ULTI.TV.
We are a group of Ultimate players, coaches, and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch.
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, ULTI.TV, the best in the world.
Become a member and
fund
our
work to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the Ultimate world and beyond.
We believe mixed is the best for the sport, for the world. That's why we're making a global showcase, starting in Europe, made in Amsterdam. ULTI.League. ULTI.League.net.
Enjoying the show? Show your support for the live stream and the people making the show. Buy a super chat or super sticker on YouTube directly. Select your donation and type your message to the world. And share. All donations go into directly funding new shows. Buy a super sticker or super chat now. Thank you.
Help us go electric, become a member.
Welcome back to the European Ultimate Indoor Championships 2022 Women's Division action for you. We are bringing you our last quarter-final matchup between Latvia and Great Britain, and I have the pleasure, no, the privilege of commentating at long last again alongside Sarah Sparks. I'm Hannah Pendlebury, by the way. And we are delighted to be joined by the production crew of Zoom TV to bring you this triple stream action, open, mixed and women's division games all day long here in Lithuania. What's it been like playing in this tournament, Sarah?
It's been really well organised, fantastic accommodation. The Lithuanians have just been amazing. So I've had a really great time playing as well. Also really fun. The teams in the women's division are just so strong. It was really hard going into this tournament, especially when you're trying to scout some people. For example, Lithuania, Latvia were a lot on streams, but GB, for example, aren't. We weren't. Poland, so you just don't know what to expect until you get here. And I think that's just been so nice to experience, and everyone's just so happy to be able to play some indoor Ultimate again after obviously this tournament being cancelled last time. So,
and well, twice. This is third time's the charm. Of course, the pandemic interrupted us. Originally, Boston was supposed to be held in Denmark at the same venue as the European Ultimate Club Championships back in 2020, the last tournament of Ultimate before the big shutdown. But we're delighted to be bringing you this game. It's going to be a spicy one. Certainly it's supposed to be on paper, but we're expecting a tight one. The style of Latvia, sorry, not Lithuania. We saw them earlier today. And we'll see them later today. But the Latvians versus the Brits. The style of the overheads. Very short roster for Latvia. Straight to the races they go, though. Linda Gulbe with the grab off the paws of Katrin Ansigasana.
Yeah, nice deep shot straight off the off. GB probably wasn't really expecting it. GB have been playing a lot against teams who like to do a lot of running, a lot of dominators. So that's probably the first time they've played against a team who just would like to waz it deep in the first row. So nice work from Latvia.
Indeed. A nice, easy way to start us off. Linda Gulbet, one of the taller players on the Latvia. I keep saying, yeah, it is Latvia.
Yeah, it is Latvia.
Gosh, got to back myself sometimes, haven't I? Right, so GB's opening point on offense. There's a big collision, immediately accepts the foul call. Just getting caught up in the legs of Elina Vignere. It's the number 47, Alexandra Hiley. So starting on 0. GB trying to use those isolation plays. Dahlman using the speed. Finds Boyd. Fozzard runs away to the break side. It's Hills and Hiley attacking that back corner. But Hiley with the better position and the nice easy shot for Boyd.
Yeah, what I find about GB's offense is it's very, they have so much in their arsenal, it's very hard to predict what they're going to do. So, for example, they've got a really good dominator, they sometimes crack out an ISO, and then in that situation they had Fozzard 1-on-1, and it could have gone, but, you know, like, the up the line was also a good option. So, yeah, I think GB is going to be quite hard to stop. They like to run a lot.
They certainly did in their last game yesterday. They didn't have the best start to the tournament, took 2 losses, and of course ended up getting 3rd in their pool after a spicy final game yesterday, where you were playing not only for position but also for this later game rather than the 8 o'clock start this morning versus Lithuania. So the Latvians inside shot to Antigasana, taking those creative spaces. Grabe into Gulbe. Antigasana working in the reset space to get away from the mark of Fire. A beautiful leading pass, single hand grab. Grabe for the goal.
I loved that throw. It was such a beautiful shot. Just well seen, and you could tell that these two have been playing together for a really long time. I think if I were GB, I would potentially swap the force. I think that's 2 times you've been punished on a blade. And just be a bit more aware of these kind of deep options from Latvia. That's just the only option. But the defense was tight, don't get me wrong.
It was. It definitely was a lot more passes than the opening point for Latvia. But Coach Janis Bernans on the far side there. Offside called by GB, so they'll start from the brick. But Janis Bernans also playing this tournament as well as coaching. Mr. Frisbee.
So GB have just called an offside, and this actually happened in our game against us, the Netherlands, is that they said that the team wasn't getting off the pitch quick enough, so then they called an offside, and in this case the coach of Latvia was not off the field by the time they were ready to pull.
Ah, there you go. Rules knowledge, we bring you it. Fozzard, around to Boyd. Hills, the Iceni start. Throws the backhand into the path of Rona Gordon for the GB hold.
That was really nice clean offense from GB, just keeping that break side open space free. And also these inside throws, sometimes it can be a bit spicy, but I think there was enough space there from Rona Gordon to have that inside backhand from Hills.
And Gordon is quite a long, limby player, does definitely have the drive. There's a strong Scottish contingent in this British side. Of course, our friends north of the border do like to play a little bit more indoors because it's colder for longer and they get a lot more snow. Whereas the Fools down in the south of the UK, we try and play outdoors all year. The Fools. But the Latvians, who are no strangers to the indoor format, Flight on the attack, gets the block from Antigasana. And the first turnover of the game. Whiteley. A little bit of an errant pass. Fee-Ray trying to get low and scoop that off of her ankles. Fee-Ray, both of our former teammate. Latvia with the disc back in their hands for this offensive point, but slams the disc straight into the basketball backboard. This is one of the challenges of this venue. These low basketball hoops. Leading pass sails over the top of Quinn. Disc back in Latvian hands. Grabe. Just a nice easy one. Antigasana. Samiete. Samiete is going to put a reaching pass, but not too far for the long arms of Gulbe. Pulls in another goal.
Yeah, they got a bit unlucky there with that basketball hoop. It is quite low. It was something that we noticed in our first game, and it happened also in the first point that Denmark threw a hammer into the basketball hoop. The hall itself, the ceiling is actually okay height-wise, but yeah, you've got this in smack bang in the middle. So if you can't throw an accurate scuba or a hammer or blade into one of the corners, you're going to have a problem.
During one of the drills for the first game warm-ups, I also saw, as you see, yep, there you go. It's right there. It's sneaky though because it isn't completely opaque. It's really hard as a thrower to kind of figure out where it is out your peripheral vision. So Hailey to start us off. Fakes the scuba. Vignieri with the big force. Tall player. Boyd on the far side. Thinks too much about her feet. Doesn't make the catch. And Latvia will get their opportunity, their first sniff at a break. Big shot immediately to Lolovska. Centre of the end zone. A lovely way to get the score for the D-line.
This blade deep is so punishing from Latvia. They've now scored from this 3 times. And you saw that GB tried to make a switch. You saw that the back of the stack was trying to come with them. It was just way too late. And especially in indoors, if you can throw that zippy blade into the... Oh, it's just really, really nice throw from Latvia. And yeah, a break. Very important.
Absolutely. GB now need to get the hold. That one just sails and tips the back of the struts. So another brick pull. Shona Whiteley just in front of the handlers, looking for that reaching pass. Gets it. Immediately passes to Melancon Fournier. And that is the goal for the captain. And a nice response after taking that break.
That was really nice ISO play from GB. You saw that the ISO wasn't totally on for just like an overhead, so to say, or a blade. So nice throw from Flights to go for the small inside backhand, still attack the break side, and then just an easy score. So this is what I mean. It's funny actually in this division how little teams like to go for the static offense. It tends to be the Netherlands and GB a bit, and then everyone else likes to run. Controversial, I feel.
It is very controversial. And to be honest, as a Masters age player at this stage, and someone who I happen to be average height for a man in the UK, despite being a woman and playing in the women's division, I quite like the standstill and the playing from the ISO. But that's just me. At the moment, it's the Latvians striking into the centre field. Antigasana. Gulbe. Kalavanova attacking the break side. Latvians keeping things patient, not wanting to concede that break. But they earned themselves. It's a feisty flick and a huge grab. Nearly a scary moment for Yeva Grabe. And that ankle turned a little bit strange after she made that catch, but almost angry, that flick over the top.
That was really, really good defense from GB. They had no options, Latvia. That was probably a still 7 throw, and even then Hailey was super close to that disc. A lot of tall people on both sides, actually. Latvians in particular, if I look at this line now, probably average a good 5'9", 10. Nice tall team, which is definitely a major advantage indoors.
Absolutely. But perhaps one of the smaller athletes on the pitch right now, Katie Flight, slightly overthrowing Hannah Quinn. You could see Gemma Henry thinking about coming in there, but didn't want to cause the friendly fire. And the second opportunity here for Latvia to snaffle a break. Alfieva underneath, the tattoo artist by trade. Henry upline, there's a pick call before the throw, I think. Just going to allow Mikolica, to just catch up a little bit on Henry. Early with a high grab, inside dish. Oh, nearly on the second asking. Gemma Henry only going with one hand.
Yeah, that was a bit unfortunate. That second disc just knocked all the spin out of the disc, and they are the hardest things to catch. Very unfortunate drop there.
Always got to give yourself that second paw to back yourself up. But this is great defense, trying to pin Latvia to that far sideline. Whiteley now. Latvia happy to take the negative yards, but there's the drop. A swing and a miss for Bartola. So disc back in British hands, but trailing that one break. Latvia having started on offense. Whiteley just patiently working around. Quinn's going to clear, be replaced by Henry. And a snaffle down that sideline, just about coming in and making it work.
Yeah, slightly messier point from both teams there. Several turnovers. And a nice upline cut at the end from Quinn. I think one of the most important things in this game, and especially in a game that's going to be as tight as this, you've got to try and play as clean as offense as possible. So GB are slightly behind now. IFC against us, the Netherlands against Sweden, they are a second half team. They are so fiery. Even if there's a 1 point difference right now, that does not mean they're out of this game.
Linda Gulbe hitting that central. Samjete with a huge flick on Shigasana, puts the left hand up. Oh, Sarah, I'm not enjoying this one-hand catching business. I know it looks cool, but even at full stretch, have that other hand. Put your full shoulders towards it.
It was more how she went with her hand under. If she'd attacked it with her fingers on top of the disc, I think it would have been okay. But yeah, we've got to try and get two hands on it if possible.
So GB with an opportunity to get themselves back on serve. Hammer across the pitch to Hailey from Dahlman. Hailey loves those scuba fakes, but fakes out both of her potential resets, neither being good. I think Quinn and Dahlman thought the other was going to be receiving that one. And the squandered opportunity.
Yeah, that kind of needs to be more of a blade rather than a flat throw to the swing, because the blade will travel longer into the air. So just a bit of unfortunate turnover.
After working so hard, it's the grind of Latvia towards that far side, but not the near side even for our camera view, that comes good. And 6-4 now. Of course, these games 42 minutes long. And we'll have the half at 9. Whichever. There was a bit of confusion yesterday in one of the games where someone thought that it was a timed half in the scorekeepers. But thank you ever so much to all of our wonderful volunteers for making these events happen. Boyd hits Hills. Forzard is poached off on the around, but just waits too long to get involved. Rona Gordon unable to make the grab there. Bit of hesitation from Great Britain. Didn't like that one up. Line cut is going to be good though. And it's the Latvian score. They take advantage. And Bartula with the goal.
GB are calling a timeout here, and I think this is a good call. This is several times where you can see that GB, when the score count starts getting high, they're starting to run and try to cut each other off and just panicking a little bit. And I don't think they need to panic. I think a lot of the time there is a free person. But just take a deep breath, breathe in, breathe out. You can do this, they can do this. We've seen it in several streams that they can come back. It's not over, but the moment you start getting in your head like, oh, I've made so many mistakes or whatever, I know that feeling. It's a very hard dip to come out of.
Having the short memory is a tricky skill. It's been the story of Great Britain's tournament so far in the women's division, though. The fact that they've come out into a lot of games a little bit flat, just to make sure my pronunciation is correct, flat, and kind of putting themselves in the hole. My mind goes back to their second game yesterday, because we've had the pleasure of covering every single game in the women's division. Their second game was against Sweden, if I recall, which had the same scoreline as their game against your good selves, playing for the Netherlands, Sarah. But they started off in the hole and brought it back so much.
Yeah, it was like nearly a draw. They had the monster comeback in the second half, and they did it against us as well. So, like I say, like they can get these breaks. It's just, I think their O-line needs to be a bit more settled, a bit less rattled at the moment.
Yeah, got to find some chill. Find some chill. So, Shona Whiteley coming into the underspace. Henry with a nice big grab over the top. We love the two hands. We love to see it. Flight streaking up line, but gets the trust pass. Finds Whiteley. Oh, but just out of bounds. A nice grab. There's going to be a force out call, which is where somebody, player, potentially fouls you, pushes you out of bounds, or potentially just a foul.
Not sure, but I have to give kudos to the catch from Henry, because the defender on Henry was so convinced that she hadn't got it. She kind of turned around as if she was going to start on the offense or something. So a really nice grab from her. But yeah, there must be some form of foul call or out call. Or no, not out call, sorry. It was out. There's no debate about that. But I think it's more the call of either you forced me out or I got fouled on the way.
But this is the wonderful thing about playing Ultimate, self-refereed sport. So definitely the catch is out of bounds. There's a little almost dab-like signal there from Miluchka.
I think the debate would be, would she have been able to keep it in if she had not been fouled?
Yeah. So we're going to do the traditional thing of we can't agree, so we're sending the disc back. Gemma Henry is poached in the reset space. Let's see if Katie Flight can make it work. Oh, off she goes. But great response on the force, cutting off that upline pass. GB just now staying patient. Great fake from Katie Flight, making the defense think it's gone. Just inbounds for Shona Whiteley. She's going to throw a huge scuba across that disappears from our screen, but doesn't quite make it into the hands of the captain, Willem Garnier, who's very much been a role player for GB a lot of the time, just standing in the end zone, waiting patiently, allowing the other players to go to work. It's a big one. Olofska underneath it. Great read. Willem Garnier faced the wrong way, couldn't make an attack on it. And that one goes to Latvia.
Yeah, what are we seeing? Their favourite blade, hook deep. What works? Might as well just keep doing it. I have to give credit also to Henry, because she had such an explosive cut up the line where she was really free, and I think just slightly mistimed that Katie Flight had already looked away, and just super unfortunate. But yeah, what do we do to stop these hooks? This is going to be the game changer here for GB.
Well, it's all about just putting the 1 point at a time, and that one will be just fine. Highly finds Fozzard in the deep space, and they keep this half alive. But it's going to be all about trying to get a break here, doing something to stop the fast breaks, stop those deeper shots into the end zone. So quite a lot of the smaller players on GB for this D-line against some of the taller units from Latvia. So let's see what we get. Grabi pops it to Antigashina. Nobody seems to be marking Grabi at all. Linda Gulbert, far side. Not sure what the force is for GB. Seems to be passes both sides unless they're forcing out or forcing middle. Quinn. Ganshina. Grabi with the high release backhand. And nothing can be done about that. Latvia will take half, 9-5.
Nice calm offense there from Latvia, just taking the open person. Normal throws, not even indoor throws, it was just backhands, forehands, finding the space. So nice work and a clean point to go into the half.
Yeah, I like that. A bit of patience. Just working it slowly. So GB in a little bit of a hole there. Galavanova collecting that score. And as the players take a brief break, so will we. Second half action in the women's division quarter-finals, Great Britain versus Latvia, and at the moment it's the Latvians in charge with commanding 3-break lead. GB coming out on offense to start this second half. Lulu Boyd with the first pass to Hills. Oh, but that's going to be taken away. Vignieri just hanging around in the space. Orlovska puts it up. There was a lot of defense on that play, but a foul is going to be called, I think possibly from Afieva, as she was setting up that one.
I think she might have been winded there. I don't know what hit her. I don't know whether it was another player or maybe when the disc might have tacoed a little bit into her ribs, but she definitely looked like she got the wind caught out of her in there. So, but she seems okay. There's luckily a medic right on standby, so he's already gone running over to her.
Yep, we have one medic at each of these venues with one pitch per venue, because of course we want these big expansive spaces to throw all sorts of fun stuff indoors with no wind. Afieva says a foul call before that from Hills, I think saying that it seems to be anyway from the use of the hand signals. So Hills was saying that when Afieva was going for that, she sort of pushed off, so a push-off foul. But unfortunately, as Lulu Boyd came in to try and play a bit of help D, I think she ended up in the space where Afieva, as she was coming down from her jump to make that huge grab, and it was an absolutely huge grab, but Boyd was just underneath her where she wanted to land. So I think that was where the collision happened.
So, yeah, I agree. So we see a lot of hand gestures. I think regardless, it's definitely going to be an injury call, because I'd be really, really surprised if she'd be able to get back on the pitch if she's winded. But clearly there's some form of debate about a foul. I did see a contest, and now they're discussing it again. So I think At this point, this has gone on a bit too long. I think if you're not going to come out, then...
Well, they haven't. It's the thing of Afieva obviously recovering herself from the injury. So there's the injury call, which is a stoppage anyway, and then allowing Afieva then to have a chat with Hills, because obviously that was the two players where... So that's who Hills has called the foul on.
It's contested. It's going back to Orlovska.
Yep. I like that result. Always like when the disc goes back. It seemed a fairway last piece of uncontested play. So we're getting a replacement. I think that might be Gulbe coming on. It is indeed. Linda Gulbe replacing Afieva. But she has a bit of a clap of doom there. The disc sailing straight through her arms. Didn't quite manage to close them in time. So Mikalica on the force. Big high scuba, highly underneath it, wins the sky battle. Tosses one to Fozzard, just about gets it in bounds. A nice way to respond from Great Britain. They hold coming out into the second half. Fozzard and Hiley having pretty good games.
Yep. I agree, and also I just think this is the time when GB has turned it on in every other game they've played. I didn't see their game against Poland, but in any other tight game they've had, this was the moment where the comeback started. Just after the half, having that break to resettle, so you'll see a lot of fire in GB's eyes going out on this D point.
Whiteley covering the deep. Antigasina, nearly a bit of friendly fire there with Gulbe. Kalavanova. Back to Grabe. Antigasina taking the reset. Kalavanova under. Has a little bit of space. Takes the gap. And that's the Latvian score. Nice and simple.
Tight little channel there to throw it down to. And I'm just still a bit surprised that we've got a flick force. I think the Latvians have been utilising their blades so well. I think it's just something for GB to maybe consider.
Well, the thing about the Latvians and the Lithuanians both, they're flick breaker rounds. So that's the idea. I suppose that's the idea. It's giving them that flick side, that forehand pass as the open side to give yourself a better shot of defending that upfield rather than have it completely rinsing you on the around for the break side. But GB will just need to punch this one in and keep the hope alive. Hopper has Boyd. That's good break side flow. Gordon has to reach a little bit back into the pocket, but does so well. Boyd under to Hiley. And again with a scuba fake. Oh, I love that backhand roll curve. Alexandra Hiley, pat yourself on the back.
Yeah, that was a beautiful throw. Really well spotted. Really well weighted as well. Made it so easy for Gordon to catch. Lavia just watched it go. She was like, I'm never getting there.
It's a little bit like the early stages of this game, how GB must have felt. Yeah. So, that is just the hold, but it'll do. Now that you say, there needs to be the turning point again for GB if they're going to have a hope of getting themselves into semis.
Yeah, so if you have been watching, there's a rule that if the point score is more than 4 by the end of the game ends automatically. So this being 10-7 at the moment is okay, but they really cannot afford to be broken again on offense. If they get broken again on offense, Latvia are going to be creating this lovely gap, which is just going to seal the game for them.
So it's that stack flood play that Latvia loves so much. 2 bounce cuts to the side, 1 coming straight through from the back. Samieta. Grabe now. High up field and at the back. Pick call, Gemma Henry. Getting a little bit stuck.
Agreeing that she wasn't going to get there anyway, so it's a good call from Henry.
Samieta over the top for the hammer. Fee-Ray inches away, but great patience. And Kalavanova collects the goal for Latvia.
That's also the major downside of the flick force. She didn't allow the hammer option, and Latvia plays so much indoor. They just have all of these throws. They're looking like a good unit. I think there was a bit of discussion maybe before the tournament how good they were going to be. Obviously, Lasma Kubiška, one of their best players, has been dealing with a really long-term injury, but she's luckily coming back now. But she said, no, I'm not going to make it back for the tournament. This is going to be too much.
Well, especially playing indoors. When you're nursing an injury and coming back on your recovery, indoors is such a brutal surface. You don't really, obviously you've got the sprung court, which is good, but you know, when you have impacts with walls, impacts with floors, it's not very forgiving. So a discussion about whether that was brickable, but Boyd happy to take it right from the baseline. Hailey again with that first look of the scuba fake. Fossard launches it.
Oh, nice bit there from Hills. She was so close to that. I think it actually bounced out of her hand.
Yeah, asking rather a lot of Sarah Hill. She is a pocket rocket. Plays a lot in the open division with the speed that she has, but yeah, that one is a little bit a bridge too far. So a pick straight out of the middle. Hills will catch up with Afieva.
She's not sure when exactly when the pick happens, so debate whether she's going to be catching up or whether the disc will be going back. And it's staying where it is.
Afieva passes across. Orlovska, who has a slightly Frisbee famous brother. Only slightly. Bartola. High pass across. This is just lovely composure and patience. Oh, Boyd getting hungry for a block there, right in the face, and manages to cause enough frustration on her matchup. And Alina Vegniere throws at the paint.
Yeah, I saw a bit of conservation of greatness there. Had a really good catch there against Lulu Boyd and then just throws a hammer into the ground essentially. So,
but that's one of the keys of great defense, matching up person to person, being right in the pocket and just making that person be like, oh, thank goodness.
Huge bit there from Hailey. Great catch.
I bet GB are thinking, thank goodness for Alexandra Hailey, although she's going to have exactly the same thing, conservation of greatness.
I think it was a bit hard to see there who she was actually throwing it to. You saw two GB players entering into the same space and then there was a miscommunication. Oh, who is this one? There's a play going up straight away. Oh, Latvia just punishing GB for taking their eyes off the prize just for a few seconds.
So an easy one into the space, no one anywhere near Afieva. The tattoo artist draws up something nice and creative, and a goal is the reward. Also, because I've been stalking everybody on various social medias to try and find out more information about who they are as people, as is my job as a journalist, I can say Afieva has just recently got a puppy, a sheepdog puppy, and it's the most gorgeous thing I've ever seen.
Oh. That's the beauty of stalking on Instagram, finding all of the people's pets.
This is what people really
want. This is
what
they want.
Well, what GB want is a point to keep this game alive. They're currently 5 down, but confusion. They just can't seem to find the magic today. Not really hitting the timing that they need, but Latvia on form. Afieva coming under. Bartola. The Latvians are very, very efficient, just bringing the minimum squad number of 10. The arm extends for Orlovska. Gets a bit of a swipe from Mélenchon-Fournier, but the over the top doesn't work. The pressure from the force denying the pass. So GB with a break. Not in terms of defense, but a lucky break. Mélenchon-Fournier has flight available, going to take her straight away. And the celebration.
There's a call down the field. There's a travel call on, I believe, Fee-Ray. Taps it back a bit nonchalantly.
So,
or a travel call. Yeah, travel call. Oh, travel call is actually on Quinn.
Yes. That's why Fee-Ray just boshed the disc towards her.
Thought that was a bit of a casual bash back to the other team.
Well, we know Fee-Ray's pretty cash.
Yeah.
Whiteley. Scuba over the top, sits and hangs, but Mélenchon-Fournier finds the perfect pocket to receive it. And an action replay gives GB Another point, 12-8.
Yeah, she got really lucky she didn't hit the basketball hoop again. But it was a nice scuba behind the Latvian defender. There was no way she was going to be able to get to that. 12-8, GB have got a lot of work on their hands. I think we are going to be seeing some very tight lines now. I think some people won't be making a return back onto the pitch. And hey, maybe the second half comeback, it's going to start now, but it has to start now. Otherwise, they're going to lose on the 4-point goal difference at the end.
Well, it's good to see Fossard and Hiley coming out on defence. Another discussion about whether bits of the apparatus above were hit. I think that might have been a little bit of the...
If it did, it skimmed it. I didn't see a very obvious hit.
A chat from the sideline is going to assist. I think Grabe is going to take that from the back line. No.
So there is a rule as well that if you can't agree on whether, what it came within 2 meters or anything, you can take it from the front line of the end zone. So that might be the best solution in this case.
Certainly the favoured solution for GB, considering they're starting to run out of time for this second half comeback.
Quite a long debate about this. If I were GB, I would kind of speed it up. They need time. They need time to get these breaks.
Grave with the disc in hand. High release. Plenty of room. Mikolica. As GB try and poach off and cause a block. Fossard and Hiley. Oh, and Lulu Boyd with the catch block has Hiley isolated in the space in the centre.
There's a call.
Uncontested foul. Immediately accepted. Gulbe getting... I'll take it back. They're having a bit more of a chat. It's this... People keep doing this with their hands when they're talking. The accepted hand signal, which is, of course, 2 open palms. Highly available. Good attack. Samiete getting hungry. Dahlman. Pops to Fossard. Has Hiley, and the 2 connect for another goal. We said they were having a great day today. Fossard and Hiley have connected for a number of these Great Britain scores, and that's another to add to the bank. But is it going to be enough?
Well, that was an essential break. We had just said that before the point. There needs to be a break. Lulu Boyd with a huge run through D. And then just keeping it calm on offense. Just finding these the right options, taking these small inside backhands all the way up the field. So it's going to be tight. They've got 5 minutes left. As long as they don't let Latvia score this next one, they're still in this.
And Chagasina is going to put up one of those big deep shots. Hiley and Henry on the attack, and Hiley gets the block at the last dying second.
Great D there from Hiley. And like we said GB needs to do something about these blades, and they finally figured it out. Oh, great defense from her.
Absolute scenes from Alexandra Hiley. That was massive. Finds Henry straight back to Flight, the distributor. Melancon Fournier opening up that break side by pushing the mark across. And that is another break for GB.
So good to see Kate Flight calming down the offense. In the last point when she scored and it was going back, she was so hyped. And then this time she just walks very, very calmly back to the pitch. She knows that actually at this point, too much adrenaline's not really a good thing for the team. Just be calm. You're getting the breaks now. We know they're a second half team. This is going to be a scorcher of the last few minutes.
Well, after Alex Hiley threw it all into that big bid to get just the under block on the rim. Coming out again, pick cool. That will be easily caught by Linda Gulbe in the backfield.
Suspiciously free, as they like to say it in the commentary, I believe.
We do like to say that.
But yeah, you could see from the stack was so tight, and there was no way that Hiley was going to get through without having to run through the stack. So it is going back.
All right, well, an action replay. Grabe finds Gulbe on the underneath. Big one going upfield. Dahlman with good position. Nearly the redemption shot from the back. Laura Samiete would have made a huge hero of herself if she'd have managed to collect that one after all eyes were focused.
Great D from Dahlman. And GB are off to the races. It's time for another break.
High release from Hiley to Boyd. Lovely scenes. No one really coming in, but it's a creative backhand and another to match it. Dahlman attacking the break space, and that is GB back in this game. They're bound by one, but oh my goodness, what a turnaround!
Oh, what a comeback. I told you, I said, GB are going to make a comeback, and here it is. And there was no doubt at all that there was going to be a comeback. Oh, they're making this spicy. And I think Latvia look rattled. Latvia cannot believe what is happening. And I know, and especially in a game like this, jitters.
Well, I'm not sure they look rattled. It's almost like they're ignoring GB at the moment. Whereas in the earlier stages of the game, they were getting so free and getting exactly what they wanted on offense in quite easy fashion. They're doing the same things, but at the moment, GB sort of have their number, and they're still trying the same sort of stuff. It's still getting to a high stall count, but your face tells me you don't like that brick call, Sarah.
No, I don't. I think if she actually jumped, she would have had it. And I think if you, you'd need to make an attempt to catch the disc. Put it that way. I'm normally the puller, so I feel quite defensive of pulls. I think some people would like to argue that if I put my hand up, that's 2 meters. But at the end of the day, this was also not one of the really tall Latvians try to catch this, but it's going on to the front of the end zone because they can't agree, which is a fine solution.
Well, using that rule we discussed earlier, this is a huge point for Latvia to put themselves back out in front by 2. Gulve. Dahlman chasing down Ansigarsena, but she took off with far too much space. And that's a nice hold for Latvia.
That was a really nice weighted disc. She saw that Dahlman was behind her and she had this time, although Henry did come in there. She could see what was going to happen, but a little bit too late. Lots of support for GB here in the middle. Oh, sorry, in the chat.
Comments.
Yeah.
Well, we love to have our fans alongside us. This is turning into quite the match after GB took those couple of breaks in the first half. They've gone on a huge run. Hopper looking for Fozzard. Boyd for the reset, the dish. Nobody really coming under, apart from, well, Rona Gordon's there. Hopper now working the downfield. Hills in the end zone. Nice, easy backhand.
Okay, so the hooter's gone between points. I've not had this yet.
You finished the point.
Yeah, finished the point. So there'll be this point, and then they're going to have to play on. So it will be... So if Latvia score, it's going to be game 2, 15. And if GB score, it's sudden death.
Ooh! I mean,
spicy.
Obviously, as you can tell, we both have British accents. But the main thing we want out of this game is the maximum excitement.
Exactly.
So we definitely want a universe point finish, regardless of whether the points cap is 14 or 15. So, this for the game. Actually, no, so we finished this one and then another one, isn't it?
Yep.
Getting too excited. Grabe. Ansigarsena. Gulve. Underneath is Samieta. Oh, Ansigarsena, beautiful up line. And coming in from the back, Katie Flight just making sure that was going to have to be some balletic tiptoeing if Ansigarsena was going to reel that in. Whiteley, Hiley. Oh, but they throw behind her, having had such a great game so far. Hiley cannot turn on the jets to throw herself around the pitch. Samieta underneath Gulve. Ansigarsena trying to get away and fake around. Samieta underneath. Has Kalavanova. Whiteley extends the hand. It escapes our camera view, but escapes the intended target. Kalavanova even.
Oh, you can see serious frustration from the Latvian in the end zone. She was not happy about that throw. So GB once again got the opportunity to bring it sudden death. The score on the screen you see is actually incorrect. It's 13-12 to Latvia. So if this is a score, it's going to go sudden death.
Henry underneath, opening up that space for Hailey. And it is sudden death in women's quarter-finals here at the European Indoor Championships.
I did call this before the game. I said that this could go to the wire. I saw how GB played yesterday, how they played against us, how they played against Sweden. This is a team that also deserves top 4. I think it's just super fortunate, 4-5 crossover. These are the tightest matchups. So Latvia got to be calm and chilly and just work it up and not force anything. I think that's the most important thing. Don't force it.
Well, that was the thing in the last offensive possession they had, that, you know, they're taking shots at the moment that they don't really need to. They have all the time in the world. They just have to punch one in. Anshigasina. Sat in Callahan County!
Oh my goodness! And Callahan for the win from GB! Oh my goodness, what have we just seen here? This is ridiculous. Oh, highlight of the tournament, it's gotta be. It's gotta be. Oh my gosh.
I think my feelings just fell out the back of me.
I don't know what happened there. I need to see this replay. Need to see this replay. Oh my gosh. Let's see it again. Oh, that was Fozzard in.
I mean, it's called good on the field. I think just that, the fact that back foot was on the tiptoe and she landed, and hey, it worked. My goodness.
What a comeback. How many breaks was that in a row to finish the game? That was insane.
We can tell you, that was 3 scores in a row for GB in the dying moments, but it was all about that 4-point run. Latvia were up 12-8. We were talking about just keeping it within that range of that 3-point deficit. We're going to have to wrap this one. We have lots of feelings about this game. For our first game commentating together, for me and Sarah Sparks, it's been a long time coming, and that was one heckin' match. We're going to bring you Denmark versus Poland next on these pitches here in Lithuania. But my goodness, what an exciting game that was. Commiserations to Latvia. They played so well in the opening stages, got themselves out in front, but it all came undone towards the end. Congratulations to GB. They will advance to semi-finals to play out in the top 4. But for us, for myself, Hannah Pendlebury, Sarah Sparks, our Zoom TV crew, we'll see you on the other side for more spicy action after this.
ULTI.TV.